Tom is driving a trolley along a track. Suddenly, he spots 5 people standing on the track ahead. Tom slams on the brakes, but they fail. At that moment, he notices a sidetrack. Tom can divert the trolley onto the sidetrack, but there is one person on that sidetrack. What should Tom do? Almost everyone believes that Tom should divert the trolley onto the sidetrack, reasoning that killing one person is preferable to killing 5. This form of moral reasoning is often described as consequentialist because it aligns with consequentialism's principle of maximizing total utility. Applied to this scenario, it means sacrificing the interests of a few for the benefit of the many. Unfortunately, this reasoning is flawed because it fails to calculate total utility correctly. If total utility were properly assessed, one would recognize that consequentialism would not require Tom to divert the trolley. From a consequentialist perspective, either choice Tom makes is morally right. If anyone believes my argument is flawed, consider the following 2 alternative scenarios. Scenario 2. The person on the sidetrack is Tom's loved one. Scenario 3. The sidetrack is empty except for a wall. If the trolley hits the wall, Tom will die. In these 2 scenarios, either choice Tom makes is morally right. At this point, it should be clear why governments do not legislate that individuals must sacrifice the interests of a minority for the benefit of the majority. If such a law existed, then in the latter 2 scenarios, Tom would be legally required to sacrifice either his loved one's life or his own. This would not be problematic if human beings were universally selfless. In such a world, governments would not need to enact such a law. In reality, however, humans are selfish. Most people would rather sacrifice others' interests than their own. What consequences would such a law produce? Because the head of state represents the entire nation, such a law would enable them to use the name of the nation to infringe upon anyone's rights. In fact, dictators have historically relied on precisely this justification to oppress their citizens. Clearly, to prevent a head of state from becoming a dictator, such a law must not be enacted. Ultimately, we observe a paradoxical phenomenon. Nations that enact this kind of law tend to be impoverished and underdeveloped, whereas those that do not tend to be prosperous and powerful. This apparent contradiction can be explained only through consequentialist reasoning. This does not imply that individual interests should never be infringed upon. Conscription, for instance, violates personal interests. Consequentialism readily explains this exception. At moments of national survival, if the government were to respect individual choice entirely, it is highly likely that no one would volunteer to fight, leading to the nation's collapse. Even in such circumstances, however, the government cannot act arbitrarily. To avoid sliding into dictatorship, the conscription process must be conducted fairly.